guys, so today I'm going to share with you some tips on how you can cope with your depression and how you can get in the right place to get on the road to recovery. Okay, so the first thing is that you have to want to get better. Now, I know this sounds kind of ridiculous, like who would want to feel like that? But I know that I'm kind of guilty of when you're in kind of a dark place, it feels kind of comforting and familiar to be kind of just in your illness, if that makes any sense. So if you're kind of feeling like this, just try to want to recover and think of all the great things that come with recovery, and how you can be happy again. So yeah, the first tip that I have is actually to share your story. Now, I'm not talking about openly, like, to a friend, just be like, this has happened to me, like, if they don't know anything. But I'm saying, kind of, first step in doing this would be to write it down. Now, I know that this is extremely hard to kind of face what you've been through or what has caused you to be like this, whether you've had a kind of really bad childhood or a bad life so far, or whether you've just had a normal life but a few things just kind of triggered your depression. But whatever it is, just seriously share your story. Now, I firstly recommend writing it down and not showing anyone, just writing it down for yourself, whether it's in a diary or on a bit of paper. Just writing it down and letting those bad feelings out, because trust me, the more you kind of share what you've been through, the easier it is and the less of such a weight and such a burden it feels. It literally took me years and years and years to say anything. I honestly had to work up to it for a good 3 years, but when I did, and I didn't say it in person, I think I texted it or I put it on Tumblr or something, I honestly, it just feels like such less of a big thing, and it doesn't feel like such a weight or such a big secret, and you do feel a lot better and it doesn't hold you back. And until you kind of share how you're feeling and let out those bottled up emotions, you're not going to get better. So I write it down if you can. Just write down anything you've been through which has led you to be like this, just your story. If you type in like my story videos on YouTube, then you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. And then you could maybe text a friend who you can trust, or someone in your family who doesn't know, or just something like that, something that isn't like contact, but just kind of getting off your chest, or writing an anonymous post on Tumblr or anything like that. Because honestly, the more times you do share kind of the things you've been through, the easier it gets, and just the weight is just lifted off your chest. And it's honestly, I know it's hard, but if you can work to doing that, then I'll be so proud of you. The second tip that I have is actually CBT, which is a form of therapy which therapists actually do use, and it's basically where you break down the problems and kind of issues in your life and into smaller chunks which you can manage and which make it so much easier and less overwhelming, because it can just all feel like too much at the best of times, and it kind of honestly just, well, it doesn't feel like such a massive weight on your chest. So how you do this? Okay, what you have to do is write a list of everything which is making you unhappy. Now, I know it's tempting to just say everything, but honestly think really hard about what little things are making you unhappy. For instance, you could say you're insecure about a feature, like I'm insecure about my nose, for example. Or you could say, I've recently lost somebody close to me and that is making me unhappy. It could be you're doing badly at school and you feel kind of insecure about your grades and like you're not going to go anywhere in life, or whatever it is. However many or little things that you can think of, just write them down. Now, this list will contain 3 different types of problems. things which you can change pretty much instantly, things which take a lot of work but can change, and things which are never going to change. So if you put, say, losing somebody close to you, or you're insecure about your nose, these things are never going to change. Your nose isn't going to magically change shape, or the person you love isn't going to come back. And these would be under things you can't change. There might be more problems like you're doing badly at school, which can change with time, but they take a bit of work to get there. And then there's things which can change pretty much instantly, like if you're insecure about your hair, for example, or you hate your hair, just as an example, you can get a haircut and that can change pretty much instantly. So once you've written this list, separate them into the 3 columns, things which can change, like pretty simply, things which take a bit of work but can change, and things which will never change. Now what you have to do is work through your list. Start with the things that can change really easily and kind of work through those. And then you'll notice that your list of things that are making you unhappy will be greatly decreased, and obviously the less things that are making you unhappy, the less unhappy you're going to be. And then start working on the problems which take a bit of time but can get there. This will probably take a while, but once you've done it, it will just be such a big weight off your chest, and there'll be so many less things making you unhappy. If, say, you're doing badly at school, you could make a schedule of times when you have to revise and study for it, and you can make, say if it's maths like me, I'm just struggling with maths and I want to kind of get better, you could write down all the formulas and how to do each topic on a bit of paper and put them all in a folder. So say every Friday you look back on them and you can kind of refresh your memory and then practice and see if you remember how to do it. Just things like that. It takes some time, but eventually you'll get there and your grades will get better, or whatever the thing is that you're kind of insecure about. Like if it's your skin, you can get products and medicine from the doctor and stuff which makes it better. It just takes a bit of time. So these things might take time, but gradually you'll have a lot less things making you unhappy. And then finally you're left with the things which you can't change. And these are the things that you kind of have to learn to accept. And for instance, I'm working really hard to kind of boost my confidence and to kind of work on my low self-esteem. And once I do this, I'm going to feel a lot better in myself, and they're not going to change, but I'll know how to accept them. And it's like if you've lost somebody, eventually you will have stopped grieving them and it won't be so sad, but it's not going to change. And these things are kind of things that you need help for, like with a counsellor or stuff like that. And once all these things which are actually making you unhappy go away, you should feel a lot happier and like a big weight is off your chest. And even if you don't change any of these things, at least they're there in a list and it doesn't feel so overwhelming, and you actually can see what's making you unhappy and know what you have to change to make you a bit happier. And of course, you could get help. Now, I know it's hard if you haven't got help. Like for me, I haven't got help yet, and I find it really hard to talk to people that I don't know and to open up to people I don't know, and even to my own family. But if you are in the opportunity where you can get help, or you have a loving parent or somebody who you can talk to, please do, because it will help you. You can get medicine for your depression to kind of help with like chemical imbalances and stuff which are actually making you depressed, and then you can get therapy to help with kind of experiences which are making you depressed. And honestly, they're trained and they will help you get through it, and it's never going to go away completely, but you can learn to cope with it and manage it, and it can become a lot less of such a big part of your life. And I really hope this helped. I have a lot more tips and stuff coming your way about depression and anxiety and self-harm and lots of other things. So if you kind of found these tips helpful, please try them out, because it honestly will help, I promise you. And yeah, I hope it does help, and I hope that I've helped you in some way. Please stay strong. I love you all so much, and I'm so proud of you and all the battles that you face every day. So yeah. Have a lovely day, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye. Oh, and if you have any requests for videos, because there's only so many ideas I can come up with, then just leave them in the comments below, or you can contact me on any of the links that are linked in the description box. So yeah, bye!